Oh, it's a hot day, and this is my first test drive to Gentings. I mean, I've done a Genting trip, but officially, from video perspective, this is my first drive. Let me get this turned on. Okay, hopefully it's clear. Let's take a drive, guys. Hopefully my camera angles are good and I'm able to show you everything, because this is the first time I'm doing this with this thing. I'm not getting the right angle when I tested out earlier, but never mind. Let's see. Okay guys, so what am I driving? I think that's the big question here, right? It is actually my car, right? I mean, it makes it easier, right, to test drive your own. Right on, guys. Good morning, good afternoon. This is PP here from ppTravels, and I'm from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So those of you who are watching this from overseas, you understand when I talk about the models, it's all very much related to the Malaysian market. Right. Okay, great. Let me see, is this working? Okay, this one. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that's working. We'll find out soon. Right, guys, this is my first official YouTube run as a test drive. And what am I testing today? It is actually my own car. Uh, a car that I love so much. Right? What car it is? The 2016 Toyota Camry Hybrid version. Right? I've been having this car for almost 8 years. Actually, last week was the 8th year it has been completed, right? So I went to Toyota, did my major service and all. This car, it's amazing. Okay. Hardly any faults, I would say, in the last 8 years. If you want to know my experience as a customer, right, as a user of this car, it's a beauty to drive. No. Don't think of it from a handling point of view, right? Because though I'm a crazy driver at times, okay, I can get crazy, and the handling would be surprising you. So you're going to see this now at my Genting Drive, right? So for those of you all who know what Genting Drive is, it's a place on top of a hill near Pahang and Selangor, right? So yeah, from a Camry perspective that Toyota had brought into Malaysia, it's the third gen hybrid system. So it pulls out around 205 horsepower. Torque is something that Toyota doesn't really reach out to and doesn't really tell you much. But I can tell you, it's a very smooth car. The car has done 300,000 kilometers as of now. It still behaves like a new car, but I got to say, I've already changed my battery last year when it hit 275,000 kilometers, and I think that's a good deal. And it was still under warranty because In Toyota Malaysia, we get a 8-year warranty for the battery, for the system, right? For the whole hybrid system, the inverter, battery, whatever, right? The three things. So that is something that Toyota Malaysia gives to you. And I was lucky as on the 7th year plus. It actually didn't die on me. Actually, the warning sign came out. I was able to drive the car. That's the good part. Yes, I could see my fuel consumption coming down, but I was still able to drive the car. I know some cars, they always say if the battery is dead, you can't drive, right? So I didn't know what was the situation with my car. So when I took it to Toyota, Toyota said it's time to change the battery. And it was free of charge, but I was told that the cost of the battery would have been between 7,000 to 8,000. Now, technically put, if you look at the kind of mileage you get from the car and the kind of money you have to spend on your battery, I would think it's still a good deal. 7,000 is a lot, yeah, comparatively. But if you're doing a normal engine, ICE engine, and then you're taking the hybrid from the Camry, it's good. On the highway, even now, last week I went to Tanjung Malim, which is around 100 plus kilometers up and down. If I do a normal 100 to 110 kind of speed, which I follow the rules. I don't follow the rules, but what I'm saying is if you follow the rules, between 90 to 100, 100 or 100 to 110, the other day I got around 19 kilometers per liter. Now this is an 8-year-old car with 300,000 kilometers on it. That is freaking good, isn't it? On the highway, on the city drive, depending on the traffic, when I'm going to work on a normal daily basis, I average between 13 to 14. And I think that is still good, yeah, right? So, yep, guys. So if you're looking for a car, a second-hand car in Malaysia, actually anywhere around the world with this model, it's a very, very reliable model because it's running on the Atkinson cycle. So the ratio is also lower. So when the ratio of the engine is lower, it's always more, I would say, less breathing, right? So less breathing, heartbeats are slower. The longer you live, and it's very, very, and you know Toyota cars, right? There's literally nothing to say about them, right? Reliability is top notch. Okay, so what's my experience? So in my first year, I had some problems with the car. What was the problem? See these rubber seals that was actually protecting the windows, right? These ones. They kind of gave up, so I was able to hear a bit of wind noise. So I took it to Toyota, without questions, no arguments. They said they will change it for me. Wait. Then 4 years down the road, I think this is a common problem with this car. It's your steering rack. The steering rack was, it wasn't giving, it's not in the way that it should have been as an original rack. Toyota noticed that when I sent the car out for my normal service. And they said, you know what, sir? We are changing this for you, free of charge. Fantastic. So the car has done, so what are the changes I've done so far? 300,000. Only at 250,000, I changed my disc brakes because that's when Toyota said, hey, it's time for you. At 250,000. I've not changed my shock absorbers yet, but it's already almost giving away. So I need to do that in the next round or so. Right? Now, if you go to Toyota, Toyota says the shock absorbers, everything can come close to 7,000 to 8,000. So if you go outside second-hand and you buy the full, it's an original set from Thailand, right? Because these cars, their supplies are all from Thailand, right? So if you do that, um, you will get close to 2,000, 2,500 ringgit worth of the short observer price. And I think that's good because by changing that, you can keep this car for another 5 to 6 years, right? And that, my friends, it's a good deal. It's really a good deal. Then let's talk about cost of ownership. My normal service. So Toyota has a standard, right? So when you buy the car new, their first service is at 1,000. Then you come back again at 5,000, not another five, at 5,000, and then 10,000. From then on, it's every 10,000. Okay, or 6 months, whichever comes first. That's how Toyota builds, and I think I like the way it is done because that's what makes the car more reliable, right? Because most European cars you do it at 12,000, which is fine, but their usage is at for 1 year. So now you must also understand, right? The engine oil, if you keep it too long, chances of fudge being there is very high. I know we have now new types of oil. That's why, because you see, when you buy a car, you don't, number one, you don't know how long the car has been in the stock. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, assuming, right? You want to make sure when you take your car is running. That is why Toyota does it at the first 1,000. They do a first check at first 1,000. They make sure everything is good, and then they do at 5,000 another check, and then they do it at 10,000. So I like that mechanism, right? I'm not sure any other Japanese cars does that, but I know Toyota does it. Okay. So the next one, let's see. Um, yeah, cost of ownership, right? So cost of ownership. Um, I cannot remember the first one, the 5,000, but at least at a 10,000. Your 10,000 is averaging between 500 to 650, depending what they're changing, right? So 650 ringgit, I think, is a very reasonable for a 2.5 engine, a comfortable car like this. If you go to a major one, the maximum I had spent is around 1,003, 1,004, but that's because I needed to do a cleanup on my aircon because I use the aircon a lot, and the aircon is beautiful in Toyotas. It's very cold. Until now, it's blowing cold air. So yeah, I had to pay 1,003. Otherwise, my other major services that I went, I was paying around 1,100 inclusive of the gear oil change. So yep, with inclusive gear oil change is 1,100. Compare that to your Mercedes and BMWs, where your Mercedes 1 year, okay, 12,000 kilometers, they're charging you between 1,008 to 2,002. This is the information I got from the sales dealers and all that. So, and BMW will be something like that. But thankfully, BMW gives you, you have a package to buy the free service, right? But Mercedes tarala, unless you take a lease with them. Okay. Yeah, that's how it is, guys. That's the cost of ownership. So, if you're looking for a simple car, pleasant to use, it is powerful. I will show it to you, right? It is powerful. You will see it later. No, you cannot compare it between like a BMW, Mercedes turbo engines, right? It is not the same. The other day, I drove the BMW 520i, the latest one. I took it for a test drive, and then when I came back to my car, I felt like, in terms of power, yeah, not much of a difference. I mean, yeah. So what? 1 second more, 1.5 seconds more. What? Are you racing here or what? Guys, remember, we are family members. If you're doing it for a family perspective, this car is good enough. Of course, it doesn't come with the ambience of how a BMW and a Mercedes is. Okay, that's not going to happen because you don't have the ambient lighting. You don't from Mercedes. You don't have the ambient lighting from BMW, which is the new one, which looks nice. I've installed some ambient lighting because I love ambient lightings. I've installed ambient lightings on this car, but you won't be able to see it now because it's pretty bright. It's actually 12:15 p.m. and I'm heading to Genting Highlands, right? So it's pretty bright. Um, I will make sure I get the car at night so that you can see the interior of how it looks like with the ambient lighting. Okay, it's still nice. Not much. You don't pay much, 1,000 plus something, right? So it's worth it. Of course, if you want the kind of luxury of the technology in a Mercedes and in BMW, the latest BMW is fantastic. Okay, I fell in love with the technology. It can be a bit overwhelming. I'll do a test drive or review of that car later part uh, in the year or next year. But that is one BMW I really like, and I'm kind of considering that on top of the new Camry as well. Okay, yeah. So luxury, a bit of ambience in your life, that kind of stuff. Right on. Okay, guys. I'm going to go and stop. I need to put petrol for my car. I think it's almost empty. So once I put the petrol, then we can do the test drive to Gentings. Okay? So coming up, guys. Thank you. Okay, let's see. So what else you want to know about the car? Okay. Inside the car is this is a D segment car. Okay, and that this was released somewhere in two. Okay, probably I need to explain, right? So this model would have come out in 2013. This particular model, okay. Uh, but this is the facelift model. Actually, in Malaysia, this is the second facelift for the hybrid. So in 2015, if you remember this model in 2013 when it originally came out, especially for the Asian market, it's one of the worst Camrys ever, right? In terms of safety functions, quality wise, the sales drop compared to the previous Camry, right, which is a beautiful car. When this came out, people went to the Honda Accord. Now, I'm not saying the Honda Accord is not a nice car. Honda Accord, in general, has always been a good-looking car. There's only a few Honda Accords which I really like because I was looking for luxury. Toyota always gives you the luxury, okay, but that particular Camry, the pre-facelift, failed us all. But when Toyota decided to make the facelift, I mean, of course, the overall design remains the same, right? But they made changes to the headlights, the grid, the bumper, the backlights, brought it a bit more elegance, right, to match the Honda Accord. Still, a lot of people didn't like it. They preferred the Honda Accord. And at that time, when I was looking for my car, I almost went for the Accord until this Camry came up because I knew the reliability of a Camry hybrid. I knew the reliability of a hybrid from Toyota because Toyota has made one of the initial guys to make the hybrid, right? In 1997, when they came out with the Prius, that was the first mass-produced hybrid in the world. After that, Honda came out with the Insight a year later. Okay, but do you know the amount of time that Toyota actually took to test the hybrid in Japan? It was 20 years before, right? They started working on the hybrid concept, right? That means 97, 87, 77. Can you imagine that? Right? They started thinking about the hybrid from those days. And when they came out, of course, there was something new, something everyone was like, huh? What's a hybrid? What does it mean, right? And then they start thinking about batteries and all that stuff. You got to understand that those days batteries was of a different level. It's a new technology. As time goes, we improvise. So I think this car has the nickel hydrogen battery, right? I can't remember the name, right? It's not the lithium battery that the new ones have. So this is the nickel one. So what does nickel one? It means it's heavier. It needs to be bigger in order to provide more power. Whereas the lithium batteries are more technologically advanced over time, as of now. So the hybrid batteries are much smaller, yet it can produce more power, right? Um, think of it as a handphone. Those days when you had the older versions of your handphone, your Nokia's and the early iPhones and Samsungs, they were all nickel, right? Nickel batteries. Now your new high standard phones, they are using lithium batteries, and you can see you are able to sustain your battery for either for a longer period, or the way you have used your phones from those days and now has also increased. Therefore, based on usage, you are able to use more compared to a nickel battery. All right, so that's how you think about it. All right, if you're confused about how it works, right? Um, so it's a large car. It's a D segment. It's very very comfortable. All my friends who sit at the back, they really love it because it the seats are plush. I think about it. This is like 8, 10 years ago. So the seats are plush for that time punya level lah. It is still a very comfortable car now, right? But of course, things have changed over with the new modern day cars, which are getting better and better, right? So, but it's still at that level for that price range. It was a very beautiful car. I bought this car for, if I'm not mistaken, 175,000 because at that time the pre-facelift Camry was going at 180,000, which it really hit the mark, right? And Honda Accord was going around 160,000, so people started swaying back to the Honda Accord. The good thing was the Malaysian government then decided to give all CKD cars with a hybrid a tax-free sale, right? So we didn't have to pay tax for the car. So so basically a hybrid car is more expensive in terms of costing, right? But they could sell it cheaper because Malaysia said, you know what, no need to pay the tax lah, can. So therefore, this car came in only 175,000. So it was cheaper, but with more functions. It comes with a JBL sound system, which is until now very good. There was a good screen. I've changed the screen now. I'll show it to you later. I've changed the screen now because the old one was like already lah, not so nice. Here I'm able to play Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, YouTube. Okay, but yeah, that's how it is. So I'll show you the interior of the car later, right? If you can see. So don't worry, guys. I still follow certain rules when I drive. I'm a careful driver. I'm a fast driver, but I'm a careful driver. So I do what I can do. I do what I know I can do. I used to race when I was much younger. So yeah, it's been a long time. But I still drive fast. But I don't try to chuchok simply lah. Chuchok means simply, but when I'm testing a car or the tester, I can to check the capabilities of the car. I may do that. Okay. So we are reaching the beginning part of Gentings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I just park aside, check on that camera stability, and then we kickstart our drive to Gentings at the top. Okay? Thank you guys. Kita jalan. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Heavy traffic for sure. Heavy, heavy. It's the holiday seasons. It's coming Wednesdays, Christmas, right? So, yep, yep. Let's take the drive, guys. Gentings. There we are. Marilah, mari, mari bersembunyi. This is a beautiful blue color for the BMW. I think the guys modified it. Heavy traffic lah guys, but tak apalah, kita buat je lah. Ada mangkuk kita buat je. So, see, this is what I'm saying. Mangkuk-mangkuk sekalian. Tak apalah. Nobody will take the fast lane. Nobody will take the slow lane. Nobody take the fast lane. Tak apalah, aku ambil je lah. Kau ambil lah. Right. It's going to be a bit difficult because I don't have the space to drive. Tekan. That guy on the right hand side with his hands hanging out, taking a chill drive when there's traffic like this. Send the what? Sudah jatuh tadi, tak nampak. Yeah. So, what I mean lah. Starts to give up. I need to understand, get a good quality type of. Yeah, I told you what, you will fall down. Mongoose, mongoose. Lucky I have this. Guys, not the best of Genting drives lah, huh? Because of the traffic, right? But let's see. The Volvo also wants to go fast, but these two luxury cars are. Gosh, why do they have a luxury car like this and drive like this? Hello! My God. Why? Why? Apa pasal? Tepi, tepi! Kiri, kiri! Go left, guys. Go left. Go left, go left, go left, go left. I'm going to continue. My God, seriously, guys. Ayyo. 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 Ah! Okay, guys. Not a good day to literally go up. Okay, the traffic is really really bad. When I did a GPS just now, it looked normal. So that's why I decided to um, come up here today. Okay, we will do another test drive later part, another day, probably tomorrow if I have to. Uh, but yes, very sorry, guys. Very very sorry. It's not worth bringing up the car. Look at the traffic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now make a U-turn. Again, makes sense, right? Make a U-turn when I hit Gotong. Because there's no other U-turns here unless there's another roundabout now that I can take. Can otherwise Gotong, and then we get back to KL. We'll see where else we can take this car for a drive, and I'll show you the exterior and interior of the car. Okay? Okay, so if you're interested in this car, I mean, not this specific car because I probably keep this car for another 2 years or so. But if you're looking for this type of car, which is very reliable, um, the price is around, if I checked the other day, was between 65,000 to 70,000, which basically is around 100,000 less than what I originally bought the car for after 8 years. Now, could it be more? Possible, but the problem is in the Malaysian market, everyone talks about the second-hand dealers. When they try to buy the car from you, they will tell you, "Oh, it's the hybrid battery, not reliable, very expensive." Uh, yeah, probably 10 years ago, right? Of course, it's still it's still expensive, but comparatively, if you were going to go and change a European car battery modules, right? Each module will cost you around $8,000, 8 to 10,000. Some cars have 10 modules, some cars got 16 modules. Imagine if you have to change all. These batteries don't. These hybrid batteries from Toyota, which is the nickel batteries, they don't have this concept of modules. It's one full battery. So when you're changing the full thing in 8,000, and at least it lasts you for another 200,000-300,000 kilometers. Whereas if you go and do the European ones, the modules, the ones in the modules, I'm not saying they're not reliable. It's just that when you change a module costs 8 to 10,000 or sometimes 15,000. You change one, another 6 months you have to change one or two, then change because it's gonna die off soon, right? Everything has a lifetime to it, right? So if you're a guy who is very conscious about your wallet, right? You don't want to make a big hole in it. These are the cars to buy. Of course, you want to go with ICE. Of course, lah, nice. So I still like my ICEs. But I think the best hybrid versions of the cars now, especially in the Malaysian market or even the Asian market, right? Because our infrastructure not really ready. This is the type of car you go for, where you don't have even have to do a charging. The car charges by itself. This is what you call Toyota calls it a self-charging. I think in Europe, Toyota says this is the self-charging hybrid. You don't need a plug-in hybrid. It's not a full electricity. So yeah, guys, this is the best way to enjoy the car. Okay, that's all I can say. Wow, the traffic is. This is the first time I'm getting stuck in a traffic going up Genting Highlands. Is it because everyone is coming for their season? Are they already on their season holidays? Because next week is the last week to the year, right? This today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. What's the date today? Today's the 22nd. Wow, we are early. Not bad. Not bad, guys. I thought traffic will start building up on Monday or Tuesday. So, yep, nice.